Okay, welcome everyone. This is our most recent training webinar for the McMillin agent sites. Of course, it's also relevant to other virtual results clients, but welcome everyone on this call. Today, we have been asked to take things a little bit slower than we did in the past, to go over some of the basics and help people really build a solid foundation so that they can have fun with these sites and get a lot of results from them. Okay, so let's get right to it. Today we're going to be talking about blogging. And blogging is something that is obviously very, very popular online. It is a way to publish your thoughts, your news, and your expertise online, share them with others, and you know, for the first time ever in these past, I would say, 10 years or so since blogging has kind of come on the scene in a major way, a small business person has been able to actually communicate with other small business people, colleagues, and actually get business through sharing that expertise with blogging. So that's the attraction in a nutshell. It's not mysterious. There's not a bunch of people that love to write and are out there writing about their small business. I mean, there are those people, but they're the minority. The most people that are out there, they're thinking strategically. They're thinking, how do I share what's in my mind and in my expertise so that it does not go to waste, so that it does not expire. My market knowledge is sort of a finite thing, right? I mean, if you don't watch the market for a little while, you're going to be out of date. So if no one asks me today, how's the market, I don't want that to expire. I want to demonstrate my expertise. I want to communicate that with colleagues. I want to communicate that to potential buyers. I want to communicate to potential sellers that I'm here and that day in and day out I'm working. I'm a business professional, and this is my, part of my commitment to it. It's a resume in a sense, isn't it? So let's take a look at where blog posts show up on your website. Okay, a lot of people will call them articles or news or blog. Blog is a nickname for weblog, or like a log of my activities on the web. It's kind of a nickname for that. Weblog, blog. It's nothing more mysterious than that. It just means article, thought, news piece, anything qualifies as a blog post. Okay? And on the McMillin agent websites, they show up by default if you click the articles or the blog button. Leah, by default, are we calling these articles for most people, or have we called it, or did Chris modify his site and call it articles?
No, we are calling them articles. There is still a tiny percentage of people out there who just don't understand what a blog is. An article is just a term that everybody understands, no matter how much technical experience they have. So articles is the term that we use.
So you want to call it articles, you want to call it blog, you want to call it my musings, It's all good. Call it whatever you want. Email support@virtualresults.net, and we'll change that for you to say whatever you want, whatever is on your mind. Change it once a month if you get in the mood. Okay, that's the beautiful thing about this website. We've called it articles. If that confuses you, call it blogs and write to us and say, please call that my blog, and we'll do that. Okay, when a user clicks on this, they'll get something similar to a table of contents. See this? This is, and ignore this little thing over here. This is just a GoToMeeting snippet or something that's hanging around. This is, we've all seen these, right? Now you actually have one of these. These are all the articles by you, the site owner, that came with your site, and you'll get another 2 articles a week, even if you do nothing, okay? That'll just come to you. So that's that. Now, let's go back to the homepage. We've talked about how articles or blogs are right here. Let's talk about another area where they can be seen on the site. Now, as we've discussed before, the website is completely configurable per your tastes. And however, one of the things that people very often choose to show on their homepage, and one of the things we have on the homepage by default, is a section for the blogs. Now here's another name for them, posts. Call them articles, posts, blogs, or my musings, whatever you want it to say here. We can make it say, just send an email to support@virtualresults.net. And remember, always include your website. Now, what's shown here is the last 2 blog posts that you posted. What's cool about that is that it's always current. In other words, if I post a new article today on my blog, when I go to the home page, it's going to be in this position. If the next one I publish will be in this position, and this one right here will have gotten pushed into this position. Next one I publish, they'll both be pushed off the page onto this page. Okay? What's really wonderful about that is that this is content that's being added to your home page that's changing. And as we all know, Google and your customers like sites that change. I mean, if something hasn't changed in a bunch of years, why go back to it, right? So this gets Google crawling the websites at least every couple of days, probably every day, maybe every hour if you're an active blogger. However, what that means is your newest content is always front and center. Okay? Of course, it's always available on an individual page as well. Let's look at what an individual page looks like. Whether you get to it by clicking Read More, or you're on this index-style page and you click on the Enjoy More or something like that, this is what you get to. This is your blog post. Okay? What's different about a blog post than a site page? Pretty much one thing. This ability to comment down here. I can say, something like that. And this sort of communication, back to the original author, to the site owner, is what has made blogs exciting. You can get some back and forth. Now, people commenting is rare. And as you can see, it's awaiting moderation. It's not going to show right away to the public. So don't feel bad if you're not getting comments on your posts. What we want to focus on, first of all, is just the mechanics of it. You have an idea. How do you get it here? How do you leverage it? How do you share it? That sort of thing. Okay? So that's all we're going to be covering today. Today is all about blog posts, and we're going to cover the details. So let's back up a minute, and let me ask a question of the audience here. I see Camille, Bruno's here, Janet's here, Mary's here, Raiko's here. Welcome, everyone. Congratulations. You're back for more. I applaud that. I know you've had Wednesday training, Thursday training, and now this. So we'll let you off for the weekend, okay? But, hey, if you want to, you can watch some of the videos. So, okay, you guys, why don't you chat into the chat window an idea you have for a blog post, okay? And we will try to conquer it together, okay? We'll go through an actual fake blog post that we'll build together, and I hope that will answer some questions. Just go over to that chat window, type anything in, an idea for a blog post. Maybe, one of the things that I encourage people to do is to make use of knowledge that you already have. For example, I would venture to bet that the vast majority of you go on Broker Caravan. What do you learn on Broker Caravan? Well, you probably you probably knew the price, you probably knew the listing ahead of time. You got some you probably either dug some houses or didn't, okay? In other words, you actually, you saw, you'd already seen the pictures, you were interested enough to go, okay? So, anyway, what I mean to say is, that's knowledge that you already have. You don't have to go out researching something. That's an example of something that you could certainly blog about on an ongoing basis. Let's see. How about something about McMillin's Millennia Project? Maybe link to their Facebook. I think that's a fantastic idea if I had any idea what the McMillin Millennia Project was. And now I feel really bad. What is the McMillin Millennia Project? let's go over to McMillin, see if we can't jump out of their Facebook. And, if your brokerage is doing something, in your customers' minds, you're doing something, right? They don't really know the difference. So for goodness sakes, if McMillin's doing something good, by all means brag about it, right? So, is the Millennia a housing development, a well-planned urban-style community for San Diego, perhaps?
Looks like it.
Love it. Okay. So maybe they have a page on Facebook for this. Let's see. And you'll see that I like to open up things in different tabs because I am impatient. I don't like to go back and forth.
Ryan,
Okay?
go to millenniasd.com. Mary Beth suggests that's where all the information will get.
Okay, yeah, I'm there, but I do need their, I'm there already, but I just wanted to see if they had a Facebook page, and it does look like they have at least a McMillin Homes Facebook page, and the Millennials are there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, so great idea. This is something that you could presumably sell some darn homes, right? And you're probably pretty darn up on this, as you're part of McMillin. You're probably way ahead of the game in terms of knowing about these and so on. So let's write a blog post about it, okay? First of all, we're going to go to your website. Does everyone know how to get to their website? The easiest way to get to your website is to find your email that invited you to this webinar today. Not the reminders, but the original one from us. It has your web address, your username, and your login, and everything. Okay? So if you have any questions, you can always just email support@virtualresults.net, support@virtualresults.net. So let's say we're Chris Lewis, and we want to say, I want to log in, and I want to write a blog post about the Millennia Project. I'm going to visit, the easiest way by far is to visit your website, and okay, so get to your website. If you have any question about where your website is, send an email to support@virtualresults.net. Don't wait. Don't be embarrassed. Tell us your name and your email address, and if you have a maiden name or a partner's name or team name, include that too, because it might help us hunt down the name of that site for you. Okay, and you can even ask, please resend my invitation or my my important information. Okay, so you're at the site. What do? You scroll to the bottom, you find that dashboard login, and you click it. Okay, this is how you log into your site. And in fact, I'm going to put a nice McMillin sign or something here too, so that greets you a little bit in a little bit more of a friendly manner. Now, your username and password are distinct from other username and passwords you might have at McMillin. You have a special username and password. You can't change your username, but you can certainly change your password to whatever you want. And if you get here and you don't know your password, you can always hit the lost password button right here. Here you can put in your username or your email. That's a nice way to get it done. And it'll also, if you do that, it'll tell you your username, because you can't enter an email here. You have to enter a username, okay? So some people say, well, I know my email, but I don't know my username. This is a way to find out both that. Then it'll give you a link to reset your password. You go through that reset process, and life will be good. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is log in. I am pausing my screen just so you don't see me logging in and I give out passwords or something like that. However, When you log in, the next thing you will see is the dashboard, hopefully minus a few of these things that I see because I have an administrator login. Okay, this is called the dashboard. This is where you come. This is your home base when you're logged into your website. All right. Since we are keeping it very simple today and straightforward, I'm just going to not get into too much of what the other things. I'm just going to get straight to kind of what you're doing here, what your goal is. And as a matter of fact, I went back and forth so much, I logged into a different website. I logged into Virtual Results website. Okay? So I went back and forth so many times. You won't be able to do that. It'll just say that you can't, log in. So let me pause one more time. I'm in. And now I see a little bit more familiar dashboard. Okay? What I'm going to do is just go to the front of the website to remind everyone how we got here. We went to the website, and we came down to the bottom here where there's a dashboard login. This is only relevant to you. You can't have your clients log in through here or anything like that. I logged in. The next thing I know, I'm in the back of the website, and I'm ready to blog. Okay? Who knows where I should go next? Any ideas where I might go to edit or create blog posts? Anyone? Go ahead, stick it in the chat if you were paying attention in Isabel's class. And you've got, if you have two monitors, you can be doing this along with me, or you can kind of be toggling back and forth. Feel free to do that. Well, I'll tell you where you go. You go to the blog section right here where it says blog posts. Okay? When in doubt, just go ahead and click it. If I know exactly what I'm doing, I might pick some of these, but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just learning, right? So I'm going to hit that, and now I'm in the post section right here. Okay? I'm in the post section. I don't have a blog on the Millennium Project that Mary Beth says broke ground a couple weeks ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fire up a new post, just like in Microsoft Office where you say, I need to start a new document, file new, or whatever. We all do that without even thinking. Soon, you'll be doing that here as well. Okay? So take a sec and see if you can guess where I'm going to go to start a new post. Just see if you can logic it out. It's a little confusing because there is an announcement here that you have to kind of ignore. But the answer is right up here. You can add a new one right here. If I want to delete one, I could go here, I could trash it, I could delete a couple of them at the same time if I wanted to. But for now, I'm just going to start out by adding a new post. You don't have to overthink it at this point. I might not know exactly what I'm going with it. I might not have it all constructed, and that's okay. Just like in Microsoft Office, I can always save as a draft and come back to it later. When I do that, I come back to the blog posts, and if I've worked on it recently, it'll be right at the top. But if not, there'll be another draft section right here. Now, it's not here because I don't have a draft. I didn't save that draft. Oh, wait. I do have some drafts.
Mm-hmm.
I must have just been goofing around. So I do have drafts. It's not going to be, I don't think it auto-saved what I did because I didn't do anything. It must be some other example.
It looks like Chris has been working on some blog posts.
Super cool. Good for Chris.
Wow.
He's on it.
Good for you.
Okay. So, again, I'm going to hit Add New Post to get going. And, maybe I want to come back a little bit later and get fancy. But for now, let's say millennia, well-planned urban style community. Let's say millennia community groundbreaking. Something like that, right? Now, you can edit this later. and you have complete flexibility here. So don't get concerned. Sometimes I'll just say millennia and move on if I have something to say. Okay. Can anyone here think of something that, this is going to be a little bit more question and answer than participation. So audience participation is going to be a little bit more required than in the past. What are some elements of this that you're going to want to include in any sort of blog post? Does anyone have any ideas? Anyone has any ideas, go ahead and chat them in the chat window, okay? I'm going to write down some ideas of mine too. Okay, Mary Beth's got a good idea. You might want to say the official groundbreaking date. That's kind of some news on it. I'm definitely going to want a photo. Anything I can have, whether it's photo. Being kind of creative here, I'm going to think of a couple other things too. And I want to spark some ideas among you as well. Okay? Let's say description, price, features, history of project. I said photos already, but how about videos? Is there any? I'm just kind of dreaming here, Video. How about a map? A map would be cool, right? How about a call to action? Like, I'll say call to action. Call me to buy a millennia home. Something like that, okay? Now, usually I don't even bother to write these all out. I'm just trying to, give everyone some ideas, okay? Types of homes and business that someone's wrote. Let's say description. Janet says types of homes. Mary Beth has an idea about a more exciting headline. I think I'm going to keep this one up here kind of boring, but then right down here I'm going to say millennia coming soon to South Bay, as she suggests. Call us to get on the interest list. That's a great idea. That'd be a good call to action. Call us to get on the interest list. Okay, so let's go through here and see what we can get. Now, you can't always get everything, obviously, right? But what I can do is I can come up here and I can format this the way I want it. I can just pick a nice format, okay? I know that I can come on over to this right here, and let's see if I've got some, let's see what these downloads are. I wonder if these are welcome video. How's that? That's cool. Kind of a bit boring page here, but you know what I can say? I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say, now I'm only going to use this if it fits my purposes. For example, if it says to call someone else, I'll omit it. You know what I mean? Check out the official millennia welcome video released recently. Okay, and what I'm going to do then is I have the option. I could just do something like this and put that link in there, or I could be a little bit more elegant. Does anyone remember how to link something in a blog post? Does anyone remember how to use the link feature up here? When I'm on a website and I see something like this where, see, it's highlighted, I know this is a link. Right? How did they do that? I'm going to show you how. I'm going to pick the words that I want to link. Oftentimes I'll do a little bit more than necessary because I want it to be really obvious. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to this link, and I'm going to insert this link that I now have in my clipboard from the other page. I always copy and paste things because it's so easy to make an error.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I've got some video. It's not exactly an embedded video. You know what I mean? Like it could be a little bit cooler looking, but still not bad. I wonder what I could find in the way of photos. I love this. This is SlideShare. So what's cool about this is that you, as an agent, can actually put this on your site too. So let's go through how to do that. What I want to do is I want to go up to this embed code. And remember now, even if I do something that seems a little bit like far out to you, don't focus too much on the specifics. You'll have a recording of this. You can go over it. What I want you to do is get a sense of what can be done. And then in the future, you'll want to do something, and you may have to send a ticket to support to say, how do I do this? Mm-hmm. But you're going to be amazed at how fast and how quickly you grow. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit embed, and it says copy this into your blog or website. It allows you to, customize it if you want. I'm just going to keep it simple. Okay?
See
hit copy.
The short code for WordPress.com blogs? See that?
Yeah, but I think I need to have SlideShare installed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And plus, we're not WordPress.com, we're WordPress.org.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to come back here. If I want to put in that code, now I'll show you what I have in my clipboard. This is just the same as YouTube too. If I have to put some code like this in the website, I need to switch over to text mode, and I need to insert that here. Then I come back, and it won't display kind of properly for me, but it'll show my progress so far. Okay.
Now let me interject also for any of you who want to start doing embed. That will be something that you'll need to send to support. And that is something that we can actually, what WordPress does is WordPress automatically strips out, unless you are a super admin, which Ryan and I are, WordPress will automatically strip out code. So what we do is you will send that script to our support team and ask them to update you with the ability to embed script onto your pages and posts.
In fact, it's even a little simpler. All you have to do if you have that code and you need some help, you just shoot an email off, put that code that I just showed you right in the email and say, please put this in my post. Okay, we'll take care of it for you. Okay, so I've got some video in there now. How about description and price and stuff like that? I don't want to retype as much as I can, you know what I mean? And since you're McMillin, you won't get in trouble from doing this and so on. So feel free to do something like this, okay? And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say now I've got this content up in here. Probably the biggest thing that I don't have, the most obvious thing I don't have, is a photo. And so let's say you have a photo somewhere. There's several ways to get photos. You could come here and do a screenshot. You could go out and take a photo of it or whatever. Let's just say, for example, that I already have the photo. Does anyone remember how to get to the media library, which is like basically just a big folder on the web server that shows you all your images? If anyone knows, go ahead and punch it in and you get a prize. It is the, too late everyone, it is the add media button right here. Okay, so you add media, you can upload it from your own personal folder, and you would go ahead and upload it from your desktop if that's what you have. The other thing you could do is just go to your media library And, you know, if I didn't have anything else and I was Chris Lewis, you're darn right I'd put a picture of myself in that article, you know. And I would say, call me. I can hook you up with the McMillin Millennium Project, okay? I put none for spacing there. I'm going to put left so it aligns, it wraps, just like in Word. I'm going to do that, okay? So now I've got some text. Oh no, thanks, Mary Beth. This is really just a demo. So, you know, I'm just kind of trying to get ideas for you guys. I'm going to delete this when I'm done. Let's see, how about this? Is there a map? Or anything like downloads, videos. I mean, you could certainly link to the downloads. You could certainly link to the any of these pages as well. You could even say, you know, you know, link here to see the main site. Let's do that just to practice linking again, okay? So I'm going to ask you once again, does anyone remember how to link something? Go ahead, you've got a second while I write this sentence to tell me, how do you link text? How do you create a link? A link is when you're on a site and you see this kind of thing and you know, hey, I can click on that. How do you make something clickable on the web?
Perfect, Janet.
Yay! Janet says link chains. You're darn right. Okay, so let me demonstrate that.
Nice, Mary Beth. Perfect.
Okay, so review the official site here. I'm going to make the word here linkable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I'm always copying and pasting because I'm a copy-paste fool. And then I'm going to hit add link. Okay? Remember, you can never save too much. This is like, you know, working online is like working with a word processor in 1998. You know, as you can see, it's harder. But it's not too much harder. It's just harder. And you will lose stuff if you do not save like some sort of crazy person. You know, now, you know, you close your Microsoft Office, and a lot of times, even if you didn't save, it'll still be saved. This kind of actually tries to do that for you. Do not count on it. Hit save, okay? You don't need to go crazy and worry about it or whatever. Just hit save. You don't need to publish it. Just hit save, okay? Now,
Ryan, can I add something?
Of course.
One thing that I wanted to mention is if you are not familiar with what each of the icons mean, if you hover over it and wait for a second, it'll tell you what it is. So if you hover over it, it's going to tell you exactly what that tool is going to do. So you don't need to worry about remembering it. You can just use that hover option. It's going to give you a description of what that's going to do for you.
Oh, yeah, you know, I mean, if anyone happened to think that we knew what these things did, you'd be dead. I have the slightest idea, after working with this for like 12 years, what on earth this button is. What is it?
It's a quick tag for Daily Motion.
Yeah, so it's Daily Motion. I barely know what Daily Motion is. Do not feel bad. The good people that know this stuff like the back of their hand, they don't actually know it. They know what not to sweat. And that is non-knowledge, you know, because I can just hover. I'm not going to, this thing, whatever this is, I'm never going to need to know my whole darn life. And until I do, I come and I hover and I flip TV. I'll put a video in, whatever, okay? And the other stuff, bold, italics, you know already, okay? So let's do this. Let's, you know, let's go through our other ideas here. We've got some description. We don't really have much of a history of price. We could do a map. We could do a call to action. That's probably the biggest thing, you know what I mean? And so, you know, why don't we do this? Why don't we pull Chris, and you know what, see what I have to do here? I could just delete and reinsert him, but what I'm going to do here is I just made that a little bigger. I'm going to put him down at the bottom here, okay?
Just clicking and dragging.
Yeah, just clicking and dragging. You can see where the cursor goes. Can you guys see that? That's where it's going to kind of go. It's inexact. I'm not too worried about the, you know, the specifics of it, okay? And so right here, I'm going to say, I think I want it underneath him. I'm going to say, my name is Chris Lewis. My site learning more about the millennia community. Yeah, you know what? I won't try to get fancy. Why don't I just say this? Call me today or contact me to be among the first to learn about this opportunity. I couldn't help it. I got a little fancy. Thanks. Chris Lewis. Okay, and I could put my phone number right here. This stands for a phone number. Okay, and with the contact thing, I could, just hope they're gonna, remember my email or whatever. I could say, or contact me. I could type my email right there, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the Chris Lewis contact page because it already has a form that will already get to me.
The contact page is the tab in the header is the contact page.
Okay, different page. See, it says contact. I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this. It already has a form here, and they can say, please add me to the Millennia community, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I got that. Did everyone see that? What I did is I copied it all. I selected it all. I hit copy. Then I came back to where I want to go. Contact me. Okay? Anyone besides Janet know how to make a link?
Mary Beth said, click
Double
on the
extra credit.
double extra credit.
Did she say that?
Oh,
that was before.
That was before.
That was before. Anyone else other than Janet or Mary Beth? Okay, I'll tell you. It's the link. It's the link. You guys had me. You guys all know. This is too easy for you, I think. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit paste. I'm going to hit add link. I'm going to hit save. And now let us go through some of the other features because we literally wrote a blog post here. I know you guys are all dying to see this, right? Let's see if we can see it. And don't be disturbed. It's not going to look great the first time. That's okay. You know what I mean? So we've got this. See how we've got our little embed code? We've got, how fancy are we, right? We've got a slideshow on our blog post. We've got the content. This headline looks pretty bad. I've got to fix that. There should be more space here, right? Then I've got some links. This came from the little embed thing. Then I've got the welcome video. Review the official site here. And here's Chris Lewis. Now, all of this can be improved. It can all, but you get it, right? I mean, in order for this to improve, we just have to pull some of this stuff up, right? In order for this to improve, we have to get some more space here and maybe delete this here. In order for this to improve, I need to hit an extra space here.
Maybe bold that title.
The title's H2 already, so we may have to send that to programming if it's not kind of coming out formatted. So what I'm going to do then is, remember, I made those changes, I hit saved, and then I came back here and I hit refresh. If I just come back here to the page, it's going to look the same. It's not automatically refreshing. The web page is like a moment in time, okay? And so what I did is I put a hard return here, and then it recognized the heading as a heading, and it looks bold, okay? So good, good. I would prefer a little bit of space below the, before the video starts. So I'm going to come, or before the slideshow starts. Okay, good. I've got space here. See how good that looks? Look at this. I can even go full screen. Ooh, baby. Exciting. So then I've got, reviews. My name is Chris Lewis. I got a call to action on this thing, okay? It's a great work in progress. Please keep it, Mary Beth says. You know what I'll do? I'll put it in draft mode, and Chris can come in here and spruce it up if that's what he wants. You know what I mean? It is. I mean, literally, what did I do here? I still don't know anything about the millennia. and I was actually able to write a blog post. I Googled a few things, I got some help from some friends, and I thought of some different elements to put in here. You know, if I had just gone and got the description, this thing would look pretty lame. If I had just gone and got this, it would look pretty lame. If I had just done this, it would look like a sales pitch, really lame. You know what I mean? Any of this could work. This could even work on the top. You know, this could work on the very top, and then all this stuff could come down below. You know, so there's just so many things. Now imagine you could put a video in here. You could put a Google map in here. You could do a YouTube video. You can really do some good work. And I did this knowing nothing about Millennia. You guys know a lot about a lot of different stuff. So you just get in the habit of doing something like this once a week with your already accumulated knowledge. I'm not asking you to do like research papers on different developments. I'm saying use what you already got and you know, make a great blog post. So now let's talk about some of the other options here in the background that are always confusing and confounding. Okay, the first one that we go to right over here, it says, when do you want to publish it? Well, at first blush, that's pretty obvious. But what if I was done and I wanted to publish it tomorrow? That's actually a really good idea because one thing that's very good is to have content constantly coming out on your website at a predictable pace. So in other words, I don't want to publish 5 posts in one day and then do nothing for a month. Mm-hmm. I'll publish them all out. You know what I mean? I'll schedule them out so that I've got one a week for 5 weeks. Much better.
And this is great for those of you who, this is great for those of you who have a set amount of time to work on this, and you can create 2 or 3 or 4 posts in one sitting, and then you can schedule it out, and it's going to automatically publish it on the date and time you set.
Now, for that to happen, I should say that you do have to put in the date
that you want it published.
Yeah, and you know, hit OK and then publish it. You can't save as draft. You do need to publish it. It won't show up on the front of the site, you know, until that date, but on that date it will. Okay, so let's keep moving. What are the other options? A lot of weird stuff around here. I'm getting confused. What do I need to know? Don't worry. If you do nothing, you're in pretty good shape. If you do something, you're way ahead of the game. Categories. What does this mean, categories? It means that it means very simply that if someone's on a page and they want to know more about something, they could hit and they could see 2 articles that are in the buying category. Something could be in multiple categories, obviously. Okay, don't get too caught up on this. What I could do here is I could add a new category, new construction. However, a lot of people get a little crazy with categories, frankly, and you can end up having like a million, okay? So this is not exactly general news. I'm going to take it out of there. It is about buying. It really isn't about much else. So I'm going to leave it at that. Maybe I'm going to say no for my blog. You know what I mean? But you could, good point, Mary, it could be community news, but it doesn't matter how you categorize things as long as you're consistent. If you look at it today and you say that's community news, and you also look at it next week and you say community news, you're in good shape. You know what I mean? Because you know every blog is going to be different, and people have to adapt to that. But as long as you're consistent, you're in good shape. Okay. Let's go down and look at some other options. Tags. Tags are a constant source of frustration and anxiety for people. The good news is you do not need to do anything with tags on these websites. As a matter of fact, they don't work. They're not built into this website. We built it so you don't have to worry about tags. And as a matter of fact, you can come up here to screen options if you don't ever want to look at those darn tags anymore again and make yourself very happy. But you need to do this. We can't do it for you because it has to be done from within your user account. In other words, if Leah logs in here, it's still going to show tags for her. Okay? So, in other words, it's one of those things you got to do for yourself. Okay? Featured image. Doesn't apply. Nothing you need to do. Nothing you can do. If you put a featured image there, it would show a little featured image and not do anything with it. Okay. Format, another thing you can you can safely ignore.
Now, as you can see, what Ryan is doing is there is a feature in every WordPress dashboard that's called the screen options. And each page that you're looking at comes with various what we call modules that will allow you to do certain things, but we've got everything pretty much preset for you. So what he's doing is he's going to that top tab that says screen options, and he's just clicking on it, and it's expanding so you can actually check and uncheck anything that you want to show on the screen. So that's all he's doing right now.
And if I change my mind later and I want something, I can go get it back too. Okay. So there's a module here which you can use. It is an advanced feature and it works perfectly well on its own if you do nothing. It can work better if you do something. So for the time being, ignore. All of these are similar. There's a lot of power here, but it doesn't hurt you not to use it. If I'm logged in as a Say Your Assistant login, remind them to change the author to you, because that's always lame when it says, you know, by admin or by Joe Schmo or whoever. I could change the author, okay? And if, for example, I didn't want to have comments like, you know, maybe the, you know, millennia was already sold out and I was already doing this and I just thought it'd make a good content and I didn't want someone to say it's already sold out or something, I could turn off comments. Bad example, but I hope you get the point. Okay, and the rest of it, we're just going to ask you to use your self-control and ignore for the time being until you've mastered the basics of blogging. Okay, now when we're all set to go, we're going to hit publish, whether it publishes now or whatever. If I need to come back another day, I can just open up that draft and save it. And the way that I preview these is technically, if you, you know, rather than actually using this preview button over here, what I like to do is come over here to the View Post. That's the page I'm working on, and I like to open it in a new tab. This is my personal preference. I found it works better for me, and I think you might too. Okay. So with that, we've made a blog post. Let's say, for example, that our office called and they said, dude, you spelled millennia wrong. You're the worst. They said, oh no, don't even worry about it. I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to edit this word. I'm going to publish or save as draft. It'll be just fine. Problem solved. Okay. So putting out something that's not exactly perfect, or you know, you make a mistake, a spelling error or something, not the end of the world. Just come in here and fix it. You know, don't stress. Just come in here and fix it. Okay. Let's take some questions. What kind of things do you have questions about watching this video, guys? I hope, did you like this session? Has this been fun?
It's like all is quiet.
Let's see. We have limited people here on the call. Let's see if I can actually unmute them. This might go horribly wrong, so bear with me. Hello, everyone on the call. You're all unmuted. Does anyone have any questions? Do you guys love this session? Okay, you know what? I see that. Very good. No, it's necessary, says Mary Beth. Good. I have 2 phone numbers at the top of my page, says Janet. How do I delete one of them? That's a great question. I don't like 2 numbers because it's kind of like, which one do I call? Let's go to Janet's website. What's the name of your website, Janet? I'm guessing right now, so tell me if you know. Oh, look at this. She's already mapped the site and everything. Did you know about this?
Yep, she was one of the people who submitted a website customization form, and we launched our site.
Do you guys see what's happened there? Now, Janet doesn't put on her business card something like J. Krecklow, .mcmillinrealty.com. She can just say KreklowHomes.com. She can do that for email too if she wants to get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so she's got 2 phone numbers. Let's see what she has in the bottom. 2 phone numbers. Okay, this is going to take us off of blogging, which I'm totally 100% happy with. Does anyone else have any questions about blogging before we move to this question? Okay, so let's wrap up the blogging phase.
Okay.
Leah, would you turn off the recording so that we can have a nice clean session on blogging?
Perfect. All right. Done.